This is Ryan Godwin, CCL intern. This is Maiwa, communications director for the CCL, and this is CCL Extra Time web series. We're going to try to, be transparent as a league and give y'all some news, up to date, some talk throughout the quarantine or social distance period here, where we have no soccer right now. And we're going to bring on some guests, some pro players, some college players, and we're just going to, keep it light and try to entertain our followers throughout these weeks. Maya, how you doing?
Good, Ryan. Appreciate you putting this together. As Ryan said, I'm Maiwa Owolabi, the Communications and Administration Director for the CCL. Just to reiterate, we're excited to be able to host this webinar for you guys. Hopefully, we continue to have a bunch of spectators follow us, stay up to date with what's happening in the CCL and outside of the CCL and just the U.S. youth soccer pathway. First, we definitely want to send our best wishes out to all of you guys who are watching. During these unprecedented times of COVID-19, we just want to make sure all of our club and league members are doing well, staying safe, staying healthy, applying all these rules and policies and procedures to your everyday life of social distancing. We all want to get back on the soccer field, but the most important thing right now is the health of all the players and making sure we continue to stay active and engaged with the soccer communities. So come either later this spring, summer, or fall season, we're just right back to doing what we love to do and what you guys love to do. So Ryan, thanks for that, and looking forward to this first episode of many series. And I think we got a lot of topics to cover. We will get deep into some very interesting topics, but we also will bring in a couple good guests to highlight professional careers, to highlight pathways that players have taken to get into the college realm and to also get into the pros. So Ryan, I'll kick it back to you, and excited to be here today.
I think this is going to be a good idea, but enough about us promoting us. Let's start promoting the league, and let's just talk about our league statement on COVID-19, go into that and just more in detail. We released a press release, but what else are we going into, and what else are we doing for the club to try to operate in these times?
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic question, and I think during these unique times, it's always good to be positive and kind of always see the light at the end of the tunnel. So that's something that we've been able to provide with our CCL directors, our CCL club memberships. We have a very streamlined communications path where we talk to our 27 board of directors members, who are the 27 either executive directors or technical directors within their club, and we can disseminate a lot of information to our memberships that way. So through our official league statement, we've once again postponed, delayed the start of our spring season. We have not canceled it. We are still doing the best we can to get games played, get these kids back on the field. But as you guys are aware, we are in 3 to 4 different geographical locations, whether it's Virginia, DC, Maryland, and West Virginia. So when making league decisions, we truly have to be conscious of those different states' government decisions. As we saw, Virginia put a stay in place a lot earlier than Maryland, and so we've had to navigate that situation a little bit. But so being able to get this information to the directors so they can get it to the clubs was big. Another unique piece that the CCL has to offer is we naturally meet very often in our board meetings, but during these, unprecedented times, we were able to get everybody together on a phone call, collaborate with ideas, be able to go over best practices of what's working for your club, what's working in regards to rebates, credits, the season cancellations or postponements. But when you got 27 different people in the room discussing it, especially all soccer minded people, all speaking the same language, you usually get down to the nitty gritty and they're able to create some really good decisions for your club by collaborating with other clubs. So we've been able to really push out the official letter. We've been consistently now for about a month plus been on weekly phone calls with our executive committee, our entire board of directors, and then we've also organized best practice phone calls to share ideas, share podcasts, share forums, and just other avenues of how to keep players engaged, either training sessions, psychology sessions. But that best practice phone call that we've opened up to all of our directors and directors of CCL New England has been a very big piece to what we've been able to accomplish in the last month of some very uncertain times.
And everyone wants the same thing, is to put the best product and the best service for our players and parents, and everyone wants the same thing. Speaking on the virtual trainings, this part life and times. We can't hang out with people. We can't, be together. So just this time, players, you'd advise it too. We focus on, yourself as a player, either mentally, physically, and skill wise. You can improve at home, easily, and do trainings at home. What do you think? How do you think clubs are handling that?
No, that's it's one thing that we can hang our head high on as a league, that our member clubs have stepped up immensely during these times. We got different clubs who have created a bunch of different virtual learning centers for their teams, for their players. There's nonstop, social media challenges being presented to the club memberships as well. So I can say our clubs have done a really good job with opening up Google Classrooms, providing YouTube videos. I can sit on social media just as part of my daily responsibilities to upkeep social media posts, but I can go watch at least a minimum of 5 clubs running live training sessions for their club membership. So that's kudos to our member clubs for being able to offer these things to their membership. And it's quite unique seeing how probably a month and a half ago nobody would have ever envisioned having to do something like this, but
Exactly.
within this quick turnaround time, these guys have been able to really navigate an entire and full curriculum. Some groups are still going 2 to 3 times a week and even on the weekends. So they've managed to continue to offer their player pools, their membership, soccer, even though they can't be together. I've seen a bunch of nifty videos of teams still juggling together, teams still passing the ball together. And then, just like we're utilizing, Zoom conference calls, WebEx conference calls. So a lot of people have really navigated this to show, yeah, they truly do care about the players and them to continue to grow, because at the end of the day, these are players that we're still going to want to come back to soccer and still be in tip-top shape once they come back. So,
And that's just a precedent to the clubs in our league. They could have easily just, said, we can't do anything. But, they're still putting effort. They're still putting, coaching time with their kids and still putting, effort. So when we get back to soccer, we can do it at a high level.
Exactly. Yeah, no, major kudos to our clubs, major kudos to our state associations. I know these guys are offering coaching education. United Soccer Coaches offering coaching education opportunities as well. So a lot of people have really rallied together to make this the most effective as possible during these trying times.
Yeah, exactly. And we have this webinar series, but we also participated in United Soccer Coaches webinar series, coaching through COVID yesterday. Tell us a little bit about that, and you know what our directors are saying in that webinar.
Yeah, no, I think that was their first webinar in their series of coaching through COVID. We handled the unique topic, so we enjoyed to be able to just discuss, you know, what was our topic was how your youth soccer organization can survive through COVID-19. So, bring in some practical, experience guys with, you know, our league president, Steve Dambusky, and also the executive director of Beach FC, Bo Eske, executive director of FC Frederick, and Paul Ellis, technical director of SYA. These guys are on the webinar with the United Soccer Coaches hosting, and also Skip Gilbert from US Youth Soccer. So they were able to, discuss topics of what's going to happen next, what should families be prepared to do, come next season, what clubs should be prepared to do. I know US Youth Soccer, they've been putting in an immense amount of time, just kind of getting out articles, getting released, getting updates out to everybody. They made a big decision to cancel the regional play and the national tournament series. So I would say they made that one of their priorities to keep people from guessing what's going to happen next, and to let the localized and regionalized leagues still be able to offer a product to their members. So with them canceling a little bit of their summer programming, it does not put our local and regional leagues into a bind of saying we have to be complete, we have to rush these games. It now gives us a lot more of that flexibility to say we can manage our schedules a little bit more to allow games to be played through these summer months potentially, but getting kids to play. So I know that call, it had about 500 plus people who were able to watch it. So that's big for CCL to be on that platform to discuss what our best practices are, in additional with US Youth Soccer's new CEO Skip being involved. So I think that webinar series is good by United Soccer Coaches. They've also done the Club Champions League a massive service by providing our coaches within the league with coach education opportunities through their virtual platforms as well. So, we might not be on the field currently, but everybody truly is still growing themselves in the game the best we can.
Yeah, it's definitely, this isn't a complacency period. It's a growth period. Just because
That's for
you
sure.
know we're not on the field, we can still grow. We can still grow as people, grow as coaches, grow as friends. Just because we're under some stress, relationships, business, yourself, we shouldn't go away from that.
Yeah,
Um,
one thing I would want to just add to that, with the entire COVID-19 situation, there's tons of opportunities for all these clubs who are, in some tough situations. So we as a league recommend everybody to look into SBA, Small Business Association, look into the payment plan protection, look into all of these opportunities. So if your club is in need of any of these opportunities, unique opportunities that the government and business bureaus are offering, make sure you take advantage of it. So we can see all of our clubs, back in tip-top form, at the end of this.
yeah, definitely. I know I'm bogged down by COVID-19 stuff, so let's get away from that and transition to what we've been doing on social media recently. We've seen definite boom and boost in, club participation, league participation. Last month we did CCL March Madness, which I thought was pretty cool. I thought a lot of people were into it. It was really a pretty awesome competition socially, and I think as a league we kind of showed that competition is what we're about, and in any factor, and definitely we're the only March Madness thing going on at the time, unfortunately. But I thought it was a great kind of social campaign. What do you think, Milo?
Yeah, no, and I know just with you as an intern, this was an idea that you really wanted to push, and a pat on the back and a round of applause for executing a extremely productive social media campaign where we saw some major growth in our followers and interactions on our page. So that's always a productive thing when we're looking at social media. But that side of it, it was unique to see. We may have been ahead of the curve, just being able to be on social media and getting out to our membership so early before this kicked off. But as you said, we were the true and really the only March Madness in the United States last month. So
Yeah.
it was nice to challenge our clubs to compete with one another on social media posts. We saw tons of creative posts. We saw tons of trick shots. We were able to make it through. All of our clubs participated. But yeah, you really managed it and led it. So run us through what the Final Four looked like, what it went down to in the championship round, how the championship was decided, and then the other awards that really came with it.
So I get the Final Four. It was SYC and VBR Star and Legacy and Lee Mount Vernon Soccer Club, and they all did great. I'd say SYC and VBR Star was the most competitive of that matchup. They both have great, social media and activity involvement. VBR Star is always in the comments on our posts, and we like that. And Legacy did their thing in that round, and they had a lot of involvement. And in the championship, we had SYC just edge out VBR Star, so they were in the championship. We had Legacy in the championship. We had about a 2-week trick shot. Well, it was trick shots, right? Yeah, we had a trick shot competition, and then we let it go to our public voted on the best one between the two clubs, and Legacy edged it out just by a bit. And it was, really almost came down to the final minutes there in the voting, and it was really exciting to see, our followers and our, league kind of gather together and, vote on, a winner.
No, I think the March Madness, it was a fantastic event. I know in addition to first and second place, there was two other awards. So we gave what was the best TikTok shot to VBR
Yeah,
Stars. They had a pretty
yeah,
impressive TikTok video.
yeah. One of their girls' teams had a really good, funny TikTok video that they shared. I think it was them, the team, how they're doing in quarantine on social distancing, and that was pretty funny. We had we had a Cinderella Award to FCSC, which was a big time for them. We haven't seen them on social media active a lot, and we saw them come out during this event and really shock some people. They beat some clubs that are pretty active on social media, so we thought that was warranted an award at the end of the month.
Perfect. No, and even just after that award or after that kind of competition ended, we moved straight into the stay at home challenge. And so I think it would be also good. Can you just explain that challenge a little bit for our viewers, just the CCL versus CCL New England stay at home challenge?
So yeah, the stay at home challenge. Uh, we've got this, CCL New England League against, CCL Junior Maryland DC League, and just putting both markets together in form of social challenges and posting videos and whatnot. We, really wanted to see because it's a brand new experience for us, what New England can bring to the table and what kind of personality they have, clubs, and see what they can bring to the table. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it. We see, some New England clubs. They're posting some pretty good videos. This week's challenge was tricks with your teammates this week, and we've been seeing New England post some good ones recently. While they social distance, they're posting TikToks or videos onto Instagram, seeing what they're do tricks as a team.
And
So
in addition to what we're doing with the groups, we've seen a big influx of the players participating, even families getting involved. I think Virginia Legacy put out a great video of a group of parents doing the juggling competition. So for all of you guys watching, I recommend going to Virginia Legacy's Instagram or Facebook page so you can look at that parent juggle video. There was definitely some former pros in that
yeah,
parent base, so it was a good video. But to keep everybody interested, we wanted to challenge some of the directors as well. So we created a directors challenge also. So myself and the staff put together a couple trick shots or different um, uh, crossbar challenges, trick shots, back of the net challenge, juggling competitions that we're gonna display to our directors and see which directors, which technical staff members can step up and show their players that they can ball too. The
yeah,
players have
yeah.
been doing it now.
Yeah,
We challenge those directors.
I saw your back of the net challenge. The celebration at the end was pretty epic. You
Oh man,
killed it.
I'm just
Killed the Ronaldo at the end, man.
just trying to keep the kids motivated and show them that we're still young at heart.
I mean, we can ball too. People sleep. People sleep. Uh,
So,
but yeah, we want to see it. I want to challenge the directors. I haven't seen a video yet, man. I'm on the feed all the time. I haven't seen it. Uh,
I called them out yesterday, so hopefully some of these directors know it's time for them to step up
yeah,
and let's see if they can handle the challenge,
yeah,
and
definitely.
then we should be good from there.
Yeah,
And so I think at this point, let's see. I know we got Evan Newton who's going to be joining us today during this phone call during this webinar series. So just a little bit of background. Myself and Evan, we attended Old Dominion together. He's a he's a former Virginia Rush and Beach FC player. So he's played within the CCL. Played on the youth national team, um, currently playing at Indy 11 in the USL. And but I know once we get him on, we'll make sure to allow him to introduce himself and give a good background. And we got some good questions for him. So looks like we got Evan joining us now. This is our first episode of CCL Extra Time webinar series. So
Love that.
we're able to discuss the current topics and current situations, but in addition to that, we always want to bring it back to the highest level of the game. So before you got on, I was explaining to our viewers that you and myself, we attended Old Dominion together. From there, you moved on to play at different levels, and I also, let them know that you are somewhat a product of the CCL environment, playing with Beach FC, playing with Virginia Rush, and even before that, with your time at the national team. So Evan, glad to have you on. Just give yourself a quick introduction. I know this isn't the first time you've had to speak about yourself a little bit, but just let the fans know
Yeah, man.
who they're speaking to.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. First of all, guys. Like I said, I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia. So grew up, playing all over. Obviously mainly southeastern Virginia, but then once you get a little older, I was traveling all over. So I grew up in a small club in Virginia Beach. I was doing that whole thing, and then ODP started, and I was like, let me give this a try. I used to play on the field and in goal, so I was like, I think I'll have a better chance as a goalkeeper. And I don't like running, so goalkeeping was always my go-to, and I thought I was probably had an advantage if I kind of assessed myself around the area at least. So anyways, I did that and made it pretty far the first year. The farthest you can go is regional, so I made it to the regionals, and I was kind of a little bit shocked because I was I was on a small club, so I wasn't playing the biggest teams. I mean, our club was called Old Dominion Soccer Club, and we went far in state cup one year. We got like 8th in the state, so we knew we were like good, but we weren't like consistently every weekend playing the best teams. In what they used to have, the VCCL. I don't know if they still have that or not, but that used to be like the huge league in our area and kind of like Virginia and stuff like that. So after I kind of made it far, I started playing with the national team after the second year in in ODP. I kind of made the national team, and so I figured I needed to move to kind of a bigger club where I was going to get play against better competition every weekend, and that's where I kind of started with Beach FC. And I played with them the year before I left to go down to residency. So I left to residency at like 14, 15 years old. Did that for 2 years with the under 17 national team, and came back and was home for 1 semester before I started college. So I played for Virginia Rush, and they were obviously, this was before DA, so they didn't have DA. I'm old enough that that DA was not around in my day. So I believe we were in one of the big leagues in Virginia. I forget exactly what it was called.
I think there's the possibility of Virginia Rush being a VCCL before CCL member. So, they were an original VCCL member. They went away during a time, went to DA, and then, recently did end up coming back into the CCL model as well. So,
yeah, I mean, I know we were playing, we were obviously traveling all over the state and playing, the top, competitive clubs. So I don't remember the name of the league. I remember Beach FC, VCCL, because it was around forever. And, Beach FC in my mind, since I was a kid, is always affiliated with VCCL. Like that's just how I remember it from my whole life. So, but yeah, I don't remember exactly what Rush was in. And we were obviously pre-DA. So, but yeah, I did that for a little bit. And so that was like kind of a little bit of my background added into my ties to Virginia youth soccer,
Perfect. And then with that, just kind of take us through, Old Dominion, and then take us through, your last couple years, in the professional ranks, if you wouldn't mind telling us the path that you've gone through.
Yeah, man. So, like I said, I was in residency. So, I was talking to, fortunate to talk to, most clubs or colleges in the country. I was, getting some interest from, and wanted to make the right decision. So for me, coming back closer to home, I went to Old Dominion. I think my final three was Old Dominion, Clemson, and Virginia Tech. But I thought, I was talking to Wake a little bit, talking to UNC, Duke. Well, Duke was very interested until they saw my grades, and I never heard from them again. And then, so that went quickly, and a little bit from Maryland, but like for me, Old Dominion, like it was always the hometown kind of team, and they're all, typically in the top 20 nationally. I knew I would play from the get-go and get experience, because as a goalkeeper, that's the most important thing is game. So I knew I was going to get that right away. Fortunate to get, a full scholarship, which in soccer is tough. It's kind of tough to do, there's a lot of like partials and stuff like this. So, I mean, there was a lot that went into it, but all of it kind of led towards Old Dominion. I knew I'd be on a national stage. I knew I'd be playing at a high level with a good team, and on top of all those other things I just mentioned. So yeah, man, I did that. Got drafted after, played there. I redshirted my junior year because of the injury in preseason. And then after that, I got drafted to Houston Dynamo in 2011 season. So played Houston Dynamo, went on loan a little bit that year to Tampa Bay Rowdies. The following 2 years played at San Jose Earthquakes. Was doing well there. And then my mentor, John Bush, who still is a good friend of mine today and mentor, and actually lives down the street from me now here in Indy, which is kind of cool. It's a small world. It's crazy how things kind of go in circles, but in your life. But he kind of was like, I mean, you need to go play, man. Like, you're not playing. Yeah, you're in the MLS and you're working hard and, whatever, but you need to go show what you can do, and you need to, get into games and get experience and do all that kind of thing. He said, if you want a long-term career, he said, you could sit around and, bounce around the MLS for a few years or whatever. But if you want to like solidify yourself in a long-term career, then you need to go play. And for me, I really sat down and like thought about things, and I said, first of all, do I trust myself? Because I think there's a lot of players that say they're good, but they don't really trust themselves when push comes to shove. Like, they talk a game, but they're not willing to go prove it, And for me, I was like, I know what I can do. I'm gonna go prove it. It might be a little bit of an ego check and a little bit of an ego hit at the time, like, oh, I'm leaving MLS to go down to the second division, but I'm gonna go prove what I can do. And so I left and went to the USL and went to Phoenix, and how that all happened was just a crazy story, and just purely like a blessing. And found my way there, played 31 games that next season, was player of the year. I think, Sacramento was talking about they want me for MLS and stuff. That was when Sacramento was supposed to go MLS in 2000, like basically the next season, 2017, they were supposed to go. So they brought me in 2016. Never really worked. And obviously, Sacramento lost their bid like after my second year in Sacramento. So I actually moved to Cincinnati, who was interested, and they got the bid. Had a really good season in Cincinnati. Was Golden Glove recipient for the league, and I thought I was going to kind of make the jump. It seemed pretty much the obvious thing that was going to happen, and unfortunately, just didn't work out for me for different reasons. But it is what it is. That's football, and that's not the first time it happened, and it won't be the last. So now I'm in Indy, Indy 11, which is, arguably, top club in the USL, definitely a top 2 or 3 club in the USL. And, now I've been, starting goalkeeper for, this is my 10th season. So seven of my 10 years professionally, and about 150 games in. So, I mean, for me, that's the Reader's Digest version, because there's so many things that happen every year, but that's kind of where I've been. And and you know, and I wouldn't trade it, you know. For me, games are important, and I've been able to kind of solidify myself, I think, in the soccer world, and you know, and solidify like a career. You know what I mean? So, if who knows what's going to happen in the future here, but I think so far, you know, I'm happy with the choices I've made, and the things that have kind of been put on my doorstep, and we'll see how, you know, what happens if we can start playing again.
Good feedback and information, you know, with a 10-year career, you know, I think you can really show, you know, the youth player today that this does take perseverance, but it also does take a lot of understanding, you know, just from your side, you know, getting that full understanding of if I drop down a division, am I going to play, or should I stay in this division where I'm not getting to play that much? So, you know, taking those type of decisions to further your career, better your career, or you know, not easy decisions, but you are proving that they are decisions that really need to be made.
Yeah, and I think too, to kind of touch on that, so many people look at the money, you know, and it's funny now because my first, you know, few years and, you know, dropping down, obviously, like I was on, you know, the lower half money, and you know, in MLS when I was playing, because I wasn't playing, so it's not like I was making a bunch of money, but you know, I was making okay money, and then I left to make a lot less money, at least the first few years. And now it's funny because, you know, I've built my career to the point in the second division where I'm essentially making, you know, this like MLS like money, and I'm playing every weekend, and I'm happy. And I think that's the thing, is like I sacrificed that. A lot of people like look at it as money, and like I need to do this. And who knows what would happen if I stayed a little longer at this place or this place, or if I made this move instead of this move, you know, would I have gotten a chance, or would somebody have gotten injured so that I would have gotten a chance? Like, who knows? I mean, you can't ever look at that. I think for me, it's, you have to look at whatever is on the table for you now, and what the situation is. And you have to kind of sacrifice, you know, you have to sacrifice, like everyone wants money now, like everyone wants everything now, especially in today's day and age. And that's maybe playing in a lower division, and then, you know, going elsewhere. So for me, it's, again, like I said to start, if you trust in your ability, and you trust in yourself, and you have confidence, then that shouldn't be a problem. If you're gonna leave and go play somewhere and build experience, and that's how you build a career. Your market value only stays high.
You know, USL, you know, is a great league for young players. I know you have Andrew Carlton on Indy 11 now, who, you know, played for Atlanta United.
Well, he's still there. He's on loan, but
yeah, he's on loan. Yeah, U.S. you know, youth national teams. But what, you know, USL on the development side, what is the you know, positives for that?
Yeah, good question. I mean, the USL now is growing into a league where there's players that, you know, can play, and, you know, at higher levels, that just either want to play. You know, there's guys that have played in higher levels that, you know, maybe move down. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons that you could be here. So there's players, you know, well above the level that people look at as the level, right? That are like helping this USL grow. And so, like, I think your top kind of half teams could, you know, especially your top, you know, like for instance, us. Like, let me just talk about us. Like, our team, I think, could go compete in the bottom half of the MLS. You know, maybe generously the mid half. You give us 2 or 3 designated players, and I think we go compete. I mean, a lot of the guys, pretty much every guy on our team has either played in MLS, played, you know, and quite a few guys playing significant games. We've had a guy who played La Liga who's, you know, fantastic player that scored against Real Madrid. You know, we have guys that have played in the Irish League, you know, and other leagues like this, that are quality players, man, you know. And so it's a great place to get games, competitive games against teams that are good, and for you to like build your experience. You know, so the league's really growing and fast, and I think people are looking at the league a lot more now. Players coming on loan, from other countries now. Even like Tampa Bay has a thing with Norwich, I believe. So like they're sending some of their promising young guys in because they respect the league to get games to develop their players. So you're getting a lot of quality. So and that's all you can ask for if you want to play and get better, right? So.
Yeah, no, for sure. Over these last couple of seasons, we've seen the USL grow dramatically. So I think those are all very big statements when they're able to bring in, foreign players and continue to just bring in players with major MLS experience. But let's get into the fun stuff now for you. You got a 10-year career. Let's dive into some of those interesting questions that these people have for you. Where was your favorite place you ever played, and can you name the best player you ever played with or against? It might throw some people under the bus if they're expecting to hear their name, but be honest right now.
You always got to start off politically correct and say, like, I love it here in Indy, right? And I do. It's a great club, great fan base, and our team is fantastic. I'm excited to start. I've been so excited for this season because we have such a strong team that plays such attractive football, and hopefully we can get it going again because this can be our year, But other than that, like in terms of city and everything, like Sacramento was awesome. This from Iowa, like my part of my heart is still in Sacramento, and I left some of it there, and it will always be there. Obviously, Virginia Beach is my home, so that's where my heart is. But I left some of it in Sacramento. I love that city. Built some great friendships there, and the team is fantastic, and really enjoyed my time. So, happy to see them making a move in the next couple of years to MLS. I think the city deserves it, but really enjoyed everything about it, the club, the city, everything. Obviously in terms of fan base, Cincinnati was, amazing. In terms, the games, the atmosphere, stuff like this. And then in terms of players, man, I've been fortunate, youth national teams played, with some players, Josie Altidore, Freddie Adu, play with Jeff Cameron at Houston Dynamo, and youth national team with Omar Gonzalez and some of these guys, Dax McCarty that's played a national team, and there's some others, but yeah, man, we've that's all that in terms of American players. I trained with Drogba for a couple of weeks at Sacramento, he's a decent player, I guess. And trained with Raul at Cosmos when I went there for preseason for a few days before I signed a contract in Oklahoma. Yeah, man. Marco Sena was there too. He's a fantastic player. So, and big names. So I've been fortunate, to play against and and train with some very good players, and there's obviously plenty more. Wondolowski is another American that I played with at San Jose for a couple of years, who World Cup, and just got to play against Tim Howard, the right before we ended all this. So really? Got to, Tim's playing with Memphis now, all the home games, I believe. So yeah, man, got to play against Tim Howard, who's a legend, and can say I'm 1-0 against him, which is pretty cool, even though he's had an unbelievable career and he's not in his prime anymore. But
let's hope he doesn't chase us down for putting this to the public.
Yeah, no, super nice guy. Got to talk to him a little bit and had an amazing career, and obviously looked up to him in his career throughout when I was been growing up. So it was cool to play against him, and obviously it was cool to beat him. Not really for me, just because we're 1-0. So it's great.
Perfect. So during these times, everybody's kind of at a stay at home. So what have you been doing to really stay fresh, just so when the league does kick back off, you be ready to go? And then in that, what you're doing, what advice would you give to youth players who now haven't been able to be on the field for over a month plus?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been just trying to stay, decently fit. I'm not trying to wear myself out right now. It's hard mentally to kind of to be training when you don't know there's no end goal. So for me, I'm just trying to keep myself. My percentage I've been saying is like trying to keep around 80%. I want to stay fairly fresh because I don't. I think when we get back, it's going to be really hectic. So I think I mentally want to stay pretty fresh as well as physically because I know we're going to be like going crazy once it starts back, getting a lot of games in a short amount of time. So I want to prepare my body for that by, taking some time right now. And then also, like I said, mentally, like I'm trying to stay like 80%, and then I'll ramp it up once we find out kind of a finalized date that we're going to be back, and then we can start kind of planning to ramp it up and get to training. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Trying to, be creative. I think with players at home, it's just be creative with, things in your house, or how can you lift weights? If you don't have access to a gym or to weights, you can look at maybe putting books in a backpack, or doing things like this for squatting, or, I mean, just get creative, find other things that you can just hold around the house for weights, to do things with, or just do a lot of body weight stuff. But, it's kind of, being creative along with just getting touched on the ball when you can. If you can get outside and just touch the ball, or even inside if your parents allow that. I was fortunate my parents allowed us to kick the ball around our whole lives in the house. But if your parents don't, get outside. If they do, then awesome. You can do it anywhere. So, I think fitness right now is kind of, it's not a huge importance at this point. We were fit because we were just starting the season, so we were pretty fit. It's just kind of trying to maintain right now, and then for us, we'll have a idea of when we're going to be back, and then we can I can start ramping the workouts up even more leading into that, and then we're gonna have we'll have another little mini preseason, I think, for 3-4 weeks before games start. So then that's when you can really just kind of bunker down and get back to it.
Oh, that's perfect. So no, appreciate that answer. It's motivate the youngins to be creative and keep getting after it. I know we discussed before you hopped on that a lot of these clubs are offering virtual learning centers for their players. So players take advantage of these resources that your technical directors and technical staff are providing to you.
Evan, you wanna plug anything? You've got the platform here. If you have anything to plug, or
we see your Titan hat. Speak
Yeah,
on the hat. What's the hat about?
Yeah, man, just switched over glove companies, so I'm just trying to give them a little love. It's a German company, a German-based glove company. So I just wearing the hat a little bit, just get some eyes on it. But it's kind of fresh though. Either way, it's this fresh hat. So whether you are a goalkeeper or not, you can always grab one. But yeah, man, it's I love the gloves so far and everything. Great company. But yeah, man, for me, I think just final closing is just, I know Maya mentioned the other day too, like, just to speak and if there's any kind of thing you want to get out to youth players and I've been talking to players for years now, right? This is part of your job, is to kind of try to mentor the youth, and, hearing a little bit of my story today, I want to add in there that, if you want to make it, like, anybody can make it, man. I was fortunate to be talented, but I wasn't the most talented, and I wasn't like naturally talented, but I worked hard. And there's a lot of very talented guys that I grew up playing with, whether it was in, Northern Virginia or, for ODP or even Virginia Beach or Richmond, anywhere, that were so good and just never made it, because there's a lot that goes into it, man. You got to have passion for it. You got to want it. You got to sacrifice a lot for it. I think sacrifice is one of the biggest things that you have to be willing to do if you want to make it. And, I mean, I've sacrificed a lot, man, and so, but it's worth it for me. So if it's not worth it for you, then don't sacrifice it. It doesn't make sense. But if that's if you want to drink or candy bar that I was eating or anything like this, there's no secret to it, man. it's hard work. Everyone wants a secret because that's the easiest way, that you can go buy the secret or you can go find the secret somewhere. But the secret is hard work, and it sounds cliche and everyone talks about it, but it's sacrifice and hard work. So I want to keep reiterating that. I know I've mentioned those words already a few times, but if it's what you want, go after it and do what what's called of you to get there. So I think that's my main message I want to get through to the youth players, that I played on crappy fields too. I was just some kid running around Virginia Beach with a dream. I was fortunate that my parents could get me lessons when I wanted and had that financial ability, but I also was constantly playing, side yard and with my brother and with friends. And and then as time went, I put the sacrifices in to get here. So I think the last, like, kind of, I guess, analogy would be, I would love to be I would love to have my pilot's license. It'd be awesome to be a pilot and be able to fly, just have a plane and fly. And I had a friend in Sacramento for 2 years that was a pilot, that I could have easily gotten my wings and like done my 14 and 15 hours in the air and done all that. But I never got it because it wasn't that important to me. It was cool. He took me flying once or twice, and or maybe more than that, but we went flying and I got to fly the plane and it was awesome. But it wasn't worth it to me to make the sacrifices and the time to get my pilot's license. And I think that's an easy way to break it down. That's what everyone watches here, right? EPL, and now Bundesliga's on a lot, and MLS. Everyone wants to play there and then have this and have that and do this and do that and be famous, or if that's what you want. But just play professionally because it's your love, it's your passion. But when push comes to shove, man, and are you doing what it takes? Are you going to the movies? Are you going to train? Are you hanging out with friends and partying? Are you going to train? Are you putting those hours in, or are you spending it doing something that's not really productive to your cause? So I think that's the main message. And like I said, I want to really reiterate that, is because there's a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of things that get in your way. There's a lot of distractions and temptations. But if this is what you want to do, then it's well worth it. And put the work in to get there. And I wish all of you the best of luck.
Oh man, I don't think you could have said it better. Sacrifice, hard work, dedication. It truly is a dream for people. But people just expect to wake up one morning and be there. But as you've said, it's been a path, and the hard work has gotten you there. Determination has kept you there. And so playing collegiately, you're just getting to the next level. Hopefully they understand that it does take sacrifice, hard work, and dedication. So, no, I think this has been a great first episode. I'm glad that we were able to all get on this call, during these unprecedented times. To you from the CCL, we wish you and the family the best. Stay safe, stay healthy. Continue to stay involved and engaged, getting prepared for this season, and we look forward to seeing you on the field soon.
Yeah, man, appreciate you guys having me, and it's an honor being first episode. So hopefully it doesn't let you down. But yeah, man, thanks for having me, and I enjoyed the chat.
No, definitely appreciate it. So I'll do our final plug to our sponsors. So thanks to Adidas for always keeping us fresh, and soccer.com getting these deliveries, straight to our doorsteps. I know Ryan is able to sport the new Adidas face mask during the COVID-19 situation. He's fortunate enough to be given one of those from Adidas. So
Dang.
It's a spectacular face mask, and they've also done a blessing here with the built-in face mask. So we're keeping our distance, 6 feet.
Yeah,
social
we got
distancing.
those at Indy too. We got those We got those. Well, especially the coaches. They got the neck
The
warmers.
meshes. Oh, it's big time, and right now we're double using them. So no, you guys continue to stay healthy, continue to stay safe, and hope to be watching you on the field soon. And Ryan, I guess this is in and out for episode 1, CCL Extra Time.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
guys.
All right, thanks, man.
Have a good one.